Hello. Welcome to another Joyful Gym with Audrey Joy. I went to a small high school in Hot Springs, South Dakota. There were 82 in my graduating class, which was a pretty big class for little Hot Springs. And unlike most who go through high school, I struggled. Not from the standpoint of schoolwork. I loved being in school. I was a good student. I was a good kid. I loved all subjects except for math. Math was like the bane of my existence. But what I struggled with was the social aspect. I mean, I am the kid, after all, who got an F in getting along with others. The teachers liked me. The other students, maybe not so much. My first week of high school as a freshman, an upperclassman approached me and invited me to buy into a kegger. He had to explain to me what a kegger was. And when I responded by telling him, oh, my parents would never allow me to participate in something like that, he retorted by saying, yeah, the idea is to not tell our parents. Well, I thanked him politely for the offer and declined. I was never invited to another kegger or party my entire high school career. I suppose I established myself early on as kind of a goody two-shoes, and I was therefore the butt of a lot of practical jokes. One of my favorite practical jokes was perpetrated by three of my classmates. Now these boys will remain nameless to protect the guilty. It all started so innocently. After getting back to the school parking lot late at night after an away game for which I was probably a cheerleader, I realized I'd locked my keys in my car. There was no one around. It was the 80s, so no such thing as a cell phone. There wasn't even a payphone in the school parking lot. It was 1 a.m. And I decided really the only option I had was to walk to my dad's office. It was probably about a 15-minute walk, but it was 1 a.m. And then call my parents out at the farm. I didn't know what else to do. I was just about to embark on this mission when one of the players and one of my friends saw me, and he asked me what was wrong, and so I filled him in. Well, it turns out the coaches were still inside the auditorium. I didn't know that, of course, because I wasn't a boy. And he ran as fast as he could to get them, and he called his dad because he lived in town. His dad came and unlocked my car for me. My knight in shining armor, he waited with me to be sure I was safe, and he also suggested I get one of those magnets and put a spare key in it and put it somewhere like under the hood or, in the wheel rim, someplace where if this happened again, I'd be golden. Well, I told my dad about his suggestion, and he agreed that was probably a pretty good idea. And so Dad made sure that it was in place before the week was over. Now, a few days after all of this occurred, my knight in shining armor followed up with me to make sure that I'd followed his advice, and I told him I had. And then I also told him where the key was located when he asked. So kind and sweet of him to follow up on me like that. A few days later, my parents met me at the door when I got home to the farm from school. Dad even came home early from the office to be a part of the ambush. Apparently, my car was seen driving around town over the lunch hour, right past my dad's office. This was not allowed, and I was in deep trouble for something I didn't even do. Happily, my parents believed me, and we decided there must be another car in town just like mine. That was the only explanation that we could come up with. Well, I am sure you figured out by now who was driving my car around. Three of my male friends. After the third time, my car was not where I was sure I'd parked it in the morning at the end of the school day. And then one of the boys asked me if I had trouble finding my car after school the day before. I put it all together. When I told my parents, my dad fought back the laughter. My mom wanted to call the police. We talked her down. I told the boys my folks were onto them, and if they did it again, my mom probably would call the police. As far as I know, they never did. If you found value in this gym, hit that like button at the bottom of your screen and share it with a friend. If you're not already a Joyful Gem subscriber, you can change that. You can email me at audreyjoy@thisisforme.com, or you can log into my website, audreyjoy@thisisforme.com. Be joyful.